Now the problem what we saw, I just want to try to give the theory, then we will see. So we saw the problem that we have the project name here. Suppose our project name is Core Java root student 1. So suppose we have the project Core Java and the name, or I don't remember the project name, and this is our branch name. If you all remember, we have two branch in our Git repository. One is student one is master. Here we saw a problem with the Sajid that there is an up arrow with 2 and down arrow with 20. This is the number. So up arrow means how many count. Okay, how many counts is here. Suppose this count indicate that how many times the developer how many times developer failed to push the code. Here developer is Sajid. Developer failed to push code. That is the meaning. Suppose I created some file. Now as I said, if you do not pull the code, then suppose you pull the code last time. After that you made some changes. At that time, after your pull, other guy pushed the code, means they updated the version in our Git. So if you try to push the code without pulling the code, then you don't have the updated version what is inside the Git, our GitHub repository. Repository means server, the website where we saw the our code. So your Git is written in such a way it will not allow you to push the code, then it's meaning it is failed. So once you fail, then it will show you the up arrow with that number. It's meaning you try to push the code, but there is any reason, maybe you don't have permission, maybe you don't have something, but you fail the any because of any reason, but it is any problem. This is the any reason. Generally the reason is you don't have the updated code. That is one reason. Second reason, there is a conflict, and conflict is also, that is the part, but conflict is more complex to resolve. So we will see this conflict happened with I believe Mr. Sajid, and he didn't realize and he pulled the code again. Last class I already discussed that before pulling or doing anything, first you replace your Git log4j log4j2.xml file with the latest repository. How to do the latest repository, that one I discussed the last class. I will show here again. So here this is the file. No one changed except me, but all of you change. No one pushed the code except me, but all of you change in your local. So let's see what's the issue here. So here what I said, all of you will create in your system one log folder anywhere. This logs folder you have to create. So this logs folder I created in this path. So if I open this folder, so this is my path. So similar to this one, maybe you have different path. It's not you have to follow this path, any path, but don't do inside the C. If someone is having only C drive, because latest system they have only C drive where they are working also, and where they have the operating system also. So those people, you have to go to the C drive, go inside the users. You have to go to your user, like my user is user. If you don't know how which is your user, just right click in the taskbar, go to the task manager, go to the user, that is your active user. So this is my Javed Nazir is the name, but my user is folder name is this one, user. So where you have to, if this is for those people, generally if you have more than one C means, like you can see here I have 1 2 3 and 4 different drive Google what we can say, okay, drive so avoid C. But now latest system they don't have any other drive except C. Go to C, go to the users, this is capital, then this is your user. Then this user, either you go inside this user and then create folder here, anywhere, it doesn't matter. The problem is if you go outside this user folder, means outside this anywhere, then it is sometime it creates the problem, because in C drive it is having the operating system, then it creates sometime permission issue. That's the reason I am explaining. Besides C, if you have any other drive, you create anywhere in that drive, you create folder or directly inside this drive or anything, it's okay, all are okay. But if you have only C drive, then you have to be careful. You have to go users, either your user, or you can go to the public. Public means it is available for all. Create a folder here, just copy the path and paste inside this folder, but don't push the code. Please remember, don't push the code, because if you push, other guy will pull. Then first thing is the conflict issue. If someone didn't change and they have the path, their path will change, because your path, whatever you code you push, then it is will be their path. So this, if that path is not exist, then this log file is not going to create. This is the problem. So we have to do what? This is the issue arise all of you, because I did some changes and I pushed the code. You pull the code, then you did some changes, but after that I haven't pushed the code. But after that again I did some changes, like here was one attribute, I removed that attribute. That was the difference. Because of that attribute, here it is creating. Here it is creating a log file with app.log file. I don't want that one. This log file, if I run this program today, it will create with today date log file. So remember that one. Every day, once the date is over or the size of the file is more than 5 MB, then it will create a new file, as I believe, or maybe 5 MB will not work because it requires one more extra argument. Is this clear? So here, if anyone is facing the problem of the conflict, then right click on that file and then go to the replace with. Sajid cannot see because Sajid in the merging state. That is the problem. Problem means you have to merge the code. Then replace with, again I am saying only that file, right click, replace with branch tag or reference, go here, go to the remote tracking, and with this branch, just double click that one. For me, it is not asking because I have the latest one. For you, once you do the click one, it will ask you your local changes will be discarded. Means if you change any local thing, any path, anything, it will be overridden by repo means this one. So this is our only, I have only this repository we are working on, student one. So that you fail to upload the code, you fail to push, because when you pull, there is a conflict and you have to first remove that conflict, then try to push. But you did what? You didn't did that part. Means you haven't removed the conflict. So easiest way here now, last class I already described, that's why, because I know it is going to happen, because I change and I push the code again, this one. That's why last class I said you have to do this replace with all this thing and then pull the code. If you did that part, then there is no problem. But you did what? You try to pull. If it is not pulled on that time, you push again. Once you push again, it is mess up. You have to, that's why it is not allowing you even you to pull the code, and you don't have this option also. I saw when you try to replace with, there is no other option. You are getting only this local history, previous from local history or something, but not this option. That is the reason, because you are in the merging state. That's the issue. That's why I thought I will connect with your system and will try to resolve this. But you have some problem in your system. That's the problem. So all of you, if you have any conflict, that maximum in this file you will get the conflict, then first replace with the latest repository. How to replace? Or you will, if you have any changes, it will show here. I will show you again. Suppose I don't have anything. Suppose I have any changes. I just change, nothing is changed code wise, but yes, it is changed. So it is showing here. Then how it is going to be means what's how to resolve that one? Either you have to go here and replace with head revision. This one also work. but I generally do this one, replace with branch tag remote tracking. We are working on this branch, that's why we will select that one and we will replace. See, this is that it will ask discard all uncommitted changes for the selected resources. It is asking whatever you did and you haven't commit that code, then these all are going to be overridden from the whatever code inside your repository. So untracked file will be ignored, discard changes. Once you do, it will, if you see here, it will add one line, this one extra again, because I just replaced, but I removed that one, but I just replaced with the latest repository. Latest repository replacement meaning whatever is here, like we are working here, core Java, src, main, what do you mean by branch tag? I didn't get you. And this is the file. So whatever changes here, it will override that file. So we are doing only with this file, not with any other file. So any other file, that is the problem. So that is, you have to be take care, because in future all this will, you can see, because this is a normal thing, the conflict. Git push and pull is easy. When once you face the conflict, then problem is rising. Here only one file you face the problem and only one line. I already described, but maybe you do not understand because you all are very new in Java programming. And why I am discussing this Git, because it is very important and somehow complex. You can see all this in Java is somehow you all are doing, but this one is still facing problem if something is happening. So we have to learn this one, because in company, if you say you know Git, and they are really happy because Git is somehow complex part. So from first day when I started my class, I start with core Java with Git. Why? That is the reason, because you all of you have to be ready for the means if you go for the job, then it's very good for you. The company interviewer will appreciate that one. Now 5 to each element of an array. 41, you want write a program to convert an array of character from uppercase to lowercase, for example, then after conversion finally. So you have to do what? There are a number of ways of doing this one. The easiest way is uppercase to lowercase. Do you know what is the capital character is? Sorry, small character is 97 and capital is 65. Can anyone tell me the difference? 97 difference is 752 and 96 is 3. You have to do what? Just write a program, like suppose, see, removing is a issue. Removing, if you are changing the size, then I am telling again that is my mistake. But you can do removing means you can remove from cannot remove from that array. You will create that new array and copy all the element except those elements that what I am saying is to remove. But from this, if all of you remember that program, that we don't have to array in array, I describe when I started array, I described 3 characteristics of array. The characteristic number 1 is it is static memory allocation, means once you create it, it is fixed, it is not going to change. So if removing and adding I am saying, so you have to create a new array and do the operation there, but this array cannot be, this is not possible on the same array. So this is the Java. In C, I believe we can do it, but there is another way. Let it be. Now this is difference is 32. So you have to do what? Suppose you have this array. Try an example. Okay, let me check. You can ask last class, no? Today I have to go to that one. Okay, I will try to create one example for you and will share with you, but not now. So here suppose you have this one, and suppose this is our length gth, and here you have to do what? Just I is equal to, we have to do what? Uppercase to lowercase. uppercase to lowercase or lowercase to uppercase, what I said. The question is something reverse. An array of character from uppercase to lowercase, but I am saying reverse. Okay, so suppose it is uppercase to lowercase, then you have to do, suppose you have the lowercase, then you have to just do this one and your program is done. You just try to pull Mosin or you deleted that file. That is the issue. Any one of thing. You just try, you deleted the file. You go to that folder, in this folder, right click this folder and then do replace with what the way I said. Then I believe you will get, because maybe you by mistake you deleted this file. That's the problem. Now today we are going to discuss that one is failed to. That one means it is we did something that is we tried to push the code and it is failed. So again you made some changes. It's not just you push again, not again you made some changes in your code and you try to push again. You try to push again, then again you fail, then this count will increase. So suppose first time you tried, you fail, it is up arrow 1. You fail again, you tried, then it is up 2. So how many times your push with some changes? Suppose you tried to push but you haven't you push again but you are not changing anything, then it's meaning that it's the count will not increase because the same code it is you are trying. But if you change again and then try to push again, then the count will increase. This is the thing. Same thing, suppose like Sahil, Mohsin and Ibrahim, Mr. Wong, they all try to push code already. So suppose 3% already push the code successfully. 3%. When I pull the code, then that time this they didn't push the code. Means once I pull, after my pull, this 3% push the code. Then what happened if suppose because of conflict I was failed to pull the code? If because of conflict or because of any issue I was failed to pull code, then what happened? How many people already push the code? Then I can see with this down arrow with that number. So here 3%, maybe they push more than once, but I'm saying suppose he push only once, he push only once, and he push only once, so total 3. So when I fail to pull the code, then it will show this number. It's meaning how many times code already committed or pushed in the repository. Means once if I remove my problem of pulling, then this all whatever code is there, when I pull, then this all number of times, how many times they push the code, whatever, it will all changes will come into my system once it is the problem is removed. So always remember, up arrow indicates that how many times you fail to push the code, and down means it's not like how many times you fail to pull the code, it's meaning how many times other push the code. If suppose you just fail to pull the code once, you try to pull but you fail, but already 100 times someone or more than one guy try to push the code, then you can see down arrow with 100. So this is the meaning of down arrow and up arrow in the GitHub. Today we are going to discuss method. Today we are going to discuss method. What is method, how we do, we will discuss each and everything, but first listen this one. It is very important, and somehow with my experience what I realize, students face difficulty to understand method. I don't know why, but yes, I observe this one from so many students. So they are facing the problem by understanding this one. method. So all of you please practice. So how to do, I will give some example on methods like I am giving the assignment, but beside that how many programs we did by using if program, by using else program, by using for loop, by using while loop, all you have to implement by using array, all you have to implement inside a, suppose a very simple program, public class sample, then public static void main string, and then we are writing any program, like suppose I just declare start, then I declare a variable, then suppose I am printing that variable, and suppose I again wrote this SOP. It's not only SOP, we already discussed, we did so many program like loop, prime number, different thing, all those things we already discussed. So it depends on our programming. Just I want to describe here that suppose we are writing a very simple program, very easy program. So how program execution means it's happened, it start from here, as I said, left to right like English language, and top to bottom. So it will first execute first line. If it is okay, then it will execute here, then here, then here, then here, then here, and then it is finished. So this is what our program execution is working. So here when we see the loop, no, before that one, when the program execution is stopped, face the problem we saw the first time when the program is not executing the way I said, left to right and top to bottom. It is executing that one, but it is not executing each and every line. Some line it is skip on the basis of if else condition. If condition is satisfied, then whatever inside this braces it will execute. If it is not satisfied, if it is it has else, then else part will execute by default. If it is executed, then it will not execute. So here we are skipping some part of the lines of the code, but again it is top to bottom and left to right. That is one thing we saw. Second thing what we observe in the loop, in loop what we observe that if we have some code, for suppose we have some code, then we have some code, then in this time it was rotating. It's like rotating till this condition is satisfied. That is one of the condition. And one is if we have some break statement, that is another way. Two different ways we are going to stop the loop. First is if condition is failed, or second is if this break statement is executed. And this break statement generally we are putting inside any condition. Generally we are writing in it and then we are doing. That's why sometime if you leave this space empty, then it is always true. Always true meaning it is an infinite loop. We already discussed by using this thing. If we go to the even infinite loop, but we can break the loop by using the break statement. But this break statement should be inside in any if else condition. It's you cannot put directly inside the for loop, else it will behave as a if else statement. So that till now we discussed that one. So here loop, then we discuss the secondary data type, that is array. So that is not the flow control is changing, but that is more on the concept of the data, means where we can have more than one data with same name, but the variable is changing by using the indexing operator. So we check all this thing. This with what we already check. So this all we already observed this thing. Now here what happened, uh, here now suppose I am writing means like main, we are writing always, we are writing public static void main, and then we have one this is called argument. This is an array of string. We already know that if something is having this bracket, its meaning it is an array, and then it is finishing, and there we have lines of code. So there is maybe chance, see whatever we are learning is very simple thing. We are learning very simple thing means some basic programming, prime number, and some if else condition, some switch case condition, even very less we discuss, and then while statement like print pattern printing, all those things we did already. But in real time we are not doing this type of thing, but this all thing developed our logic. So how much you are good in logic, how easily you can write the program, and how efficiently you can also write that program. This is what all happen in this one, I mean in the industry when we are going to work in the industry. This is but here what happened, if suppose your program they give something, you have to do this that, then maybe your code is so much, means there are so many scenarios, you have to handle this, you have to handle that, you have to do this, you have to do that. If you are going to write all those code inside one main, this is called method, I will discuss, then here this only this one main method maybe becomes 3000 lines of code or 5000 lines of code, something like that. So we are not doing something like this, means we are not adding the whole program inside one single method. So this so we split the program into small part, which is very easy for us. Like I will tell you this concept of splitting the program into smaller thing, that is called modularity. Means instead of writing one block of one method and writing so many codes, we are writing so many methods and writing small of code which is handling that specific task, or means if we are repeating the task again and again, then it is very easy to handle. So this is the reason. The first reason is what we are doing here, that we are going to split our big code into small code. That is one part. Second part, suppose same code, there is one code that we are using in our program more than once, maybe twice, thrice, 5 times, 10 times, then we don't have to write those number of lines of code 10 times or 100 times. We will write those code in one place and we will use that close code again and again. This is the way we are doing our coding. So now this is the reason why we use the method. Now method is how method looks like, that we'll discuss how a method is looks like. So method, we can say method always see, just there is some part is there which is not method, but it looks like method always having these two brackets. This is an indication that this is a method, but don't say if is also having this thing, for is also having this thing. So those are some exceptional cases, but generally in method we have these two brackets. This is the indication. So as I said, our main, we have public, static, void, all this thing we will discuss. So main is a method, there they have something, and then this is one open bracket and this is one close bracket. So this is called method. So method looks like what? You have to give some name, not main we generally use, and you have to give one bracket open. You can write something here, you cannot write something here, it's our wish, it depends on the requirement, and the bracket is closed. So this is our method. Then after that we open the bracket, remember all this part. Then we have code, lines of code, It may be one line, it may be 10 lines, it may be 100 or more than that. So from this bracket to this bracket means from here to here. This is called body of the method. Remember this thing. This is called what? Body of the method. And you may have here something like we have in main method string argument, or may not. We will discuss all these things. Just remember this term. And from here to here means this bracket to this bracket means from main, suppose it's not main, any name, and they have something or they don't have something. From here to here, this is called signature of the method. Please remember this term. So this is name with arguments. This is just an indication. This is the bracket, and maybe argument is there or not. We will discuss after some time. But this part, name and the argument, this is called signature of the methods. And if any this bracket opening flower braces and closing flower braces and whatever inside that one, that is called body of the method. Please remember this too, because generally I use this term, so don't be confused. That is one part. Now suppose there is one more thing that is called return type of a method. So return type of a method meaning what that method will return. We will discuss all this thing, but how it looks like I will show you. Suppose we are writing how it looks like, the complete part. So here we are writing return type. That is return type. Then here we are writing method name. Here we have arguments. That is optional, means it may be there. This one is optional. It may be there or may not be there. Then we have brackets. Either you can open brackets here. Then we have here codes, maybe number of codes, and here we close the bracket. So this is part is called return type of the method. This from here to here, including each and everything, this is called signature of a method. And this is body of the method. So we have in methods we have more parts also, but now primarily we are going to discuss today only these three types, means three things, not more than that. Because if you see in the main method we are writing also public, that is one thing. We are also writing static, then we are writing void, then we are writing main, then we are giving the argument, then we are writing any body, anything. This is your return type. What is the meaning of void? All things we will discuss, but these two things we are not going to discuss now. We will see in future these two things, public and static. What is the meaning of this public and what is the meaning of static? But this is indication, this is our return type. I said just before the method name. So this is our method name and this is just before that one. So this is how it looks like a method. So we will see each and everything here again and again. Now as I said that method name, arguments and return type, and then method body. Now always remember, we are always writing public static void main, then we have argument, and then we are writing here anything. So if all we observe that this part is always fixed from here to here. This name can be changed anything, it's like a variable, so we can change this name anything, it doesn't matter, but all remaining thing fixed. This is fixed, this is fixed, this is fixed, this one is fixed, and this one is also fixed. If you change this one, then we cannot run our program. If we change this thing, any of this, then we cannot run our program. Why this one? So always remember, number one, what happened, our program has means now we are discussing method, so our program can has number of multiple methods in one file, means one Java class can has number of methods, any number of methods one Java class can has. Here what happened, then which method will be the starting point of a program, that is maybe our compiler will get confused if we have more than, if we don't know that which will be the starting point of the program. So Java developer manufacturer, they did what, they created this part. They said if you have this any program and you have this one public static void main and string array as an argument, then this is your starting point of the program. Your program always start from here. So always remember the return type, the signature, all those things are given by the manufacturer, but this is not but this, it's a body we are writing every time. All of us, we are writing every time different program. So body we are writing only this part from here to here, whatever I say is fixed. Why fixed? Because they said if your program has to start, so from where it will start. If you have more than one method, or you have, suppose I am writing one program, I give something else method name, you given something else in your method name. So if you try to start the program, how Java compiler knows, so which will be the starting point of that program. To avoid that problem, they created one method. They said main method is will be the starting point of that program. That is the reason, but this is but it's body we are writing, so in which way we want, we can write that body. Only the starting, the signature, they said it should be matched like that, then it will be your starting point. If you change, like main method is same, suppose if I am writing a program, I change something like this, public is same, static is also same, void is also same, main is also same, but instead of string, suppose I just make this one like this, then our Java compiler will not recognize this one as a starting point. Only the difference is this data type and this data type. So, and this variable doesn't matter, this is a variable name, you can change, you can give anything, it is not the part of the signature. Then I will show you one example. So I already pull the code. See, whenever I start to do the programming, I always pull the code. Java array, then we have to create. So now if I run this program, I right click on this one, then it will say me run as Java application. Don't go to the server. Run as Java application, then it will run our program. So it gives me the output. Now, as I said, I just changed this part. It is not an error. You created your method accordingly. It is no way related what Java manufacturer, the compiler will recognize that one. So if I right click on that one, if I go to the run as, it is showing only the server option, not as a Java application, because your compiler cannot find the starting point of your program. So starting point of the program, those all changes, whatever I said, it should be fixed. Now if I made the changes, when I do run as a Java, then it will give me the option. This is what I am saying. But inside the body, this is we are writing, developer writing, not the manufacturer give from here to here. And this variable doesn't matter, you can give any name. It is just a variable name doesn't matter, matters type. See, it still give you the Java application even I change the variable name. But yes, if you change the type, then it is a problem. If you change the type, then its method signature is change, then your compiler cannot recognize. So always remember, if someone asks you is main method is a predefined method. Predefined method means there are so many things that we are using, but means method we will discuss. But now we are means that one we are not writing. Those methods are created by the Java manufacturer developer, and we are just using those one. We are not writing their body, we are not touching that one. So those are called predefined, already there. But user defined means the developer defined that we are writing the body. So main method is not the predefined, it is user defined. We are writing the body. Only signature defined by the Java manufacturer. Why? Because it should has one unique start point, else everyone will write their own method, own code, own signature. Then Java, how Java knows? Then maybe we have to do some settings, something like that. So that's the reason we have to stick with this one. In real-time programming, we are not using main method, it's something else. If you see this log, first it is fast. If you are doing a very big program like we are doing in the company, it's very big program, then you have to do what you have to means program should be very efficient, very fast. So we cannot use system.out.println to print anything, because once you write the program, you have to, if there is a program, now see, it is very simple small program we are writing. For you it is means not for you, for all of new person it's somehow complex. For me it is very easy, but it will not take time. There is no constraint of time. But if you go into the industry, the very big programming coding, so your program should be very efficient. So we cannot use SOP for printing the thing, because we are checking how do we know that this part of code is working or not. We are testing. There is two ways, one is giving the log, another one is debugging. So debug we can do in our local, but debug we cannot do in server. So server, if any problem is happening, what is going on, then we are checking the logs. Logs means whatever log, this log.info and all those things we are writing, it is going and stored in a file. So like this one, if you remember or not, this file will create, because you were absent I think so last 2-3 class. You can see whatever I am writing, it is printing here. So this is the file, and it will create again and again. So this is the thing. So today if I run any program, I believe it should create the file, but it is not creating the file. Let me check what's the issue. Where is my log4j.2xml? Tansir, why did you committed push this code, Mr. Tansir? I told you don't. No one will push the code except me. So this is, I believe, is the problem for my path. See, my path is this one. This guy committed the code and he gave the path. So this is, that's why I said no one will do this one. Okay. That's why I am thinking why my code is not working. Now you see, Mohsin, here only one file, that is 25th of December 2021. Now if I run this program, Then this hello world is, now if I do this one again, it is not working. So what's the issue again? G students logs. Oh, sorry, I haven't used the log.info that I have to use. So I have to create log. I do not remember those files. Where is my array? Here I think so. I created logs. So here you have to give your class name with dot class, this one, and if you use log dot info, and now this time if I run this program, they print something extra, but I will show you what are the advantage of using log.info, and I will print the same thing. I'm running this program by doing the log.info and by using the system.out.println. So both are printing the same thing, but you can see the difference. So see the difference between info did what? It prints you today date, today month, year, time. In my my place it is 11 3 second, I cannot see, and then this is microsecond, and this is what type of log is this. So my log is info, that's why it prints the info. Then after that it gives me the this much of which method I am doing. So this is, if you see here org, this is my package name, and it prints also here my package name up to here plus my class name. This is your absolute class name. This is package with class name is called absolute class name, and then whatever message you are printing. But if you see the SOP, where is SOP? Hello world. I haven't. So it printed here, there is no information, nothing, it just printed. So now suppose if you have so means big project, thousands of Java classes, thousands of places where it is printing, doing this and that. So if you do not use the log, then you have to search this one from where this log is coming, this message is coming. Maybe out of thousands of classes, 100 classes is printing the same thing, then it is very difficult for to check. That is one part, but by log it will say which time and which class and all those things. This is our main thread. It is showing the thread name also. If we have more than one thread, then it will show the thread name. Second thing, if we go here, okay, now it will create every day this file. So see, this is the advantage. This is called, you can means company is using as a audit file. Now we will go to our methods. So methods, now as I said, so here methods we discuss in method return type, its signature and the body. Any method we are writing. Now we are writing, as I said, the method name and all those things. So one thing what I mentioned here, that this argument is optional. So we can give the argument, we cannot give the argument, and the number of arguments and the types of the argument can be vary. Okay, then here what happened, see here. So what I said, we do not go to the body, we first discuss the return type and the signature of the method. So return type, and then method name, and then there are arguments which I said optional, maybe there, may not be. So what happened in any method, maybe any method is not returning any value. When method will return the value, what value will return, we will discuss all this thing. But I am saying what type of value or what is the value, we will discuss. Just I am saying that sometime method is returning a value and sometime method is not returning the value. If method is not returning a value, if method is not returning a value, then we have to mention the return type as void. Void means method not any value. This is the meaning of void. If you are writing any method return type as a void, means this method is not returning the value. What is the returning the value and what type of returning value, we will discuss each and everything. Second, sometime method will not accept any argument, means method is there, as I am writing, suppose this is return type, and after return type this is your method name, and this method is not accepting any argument. So what is meaning of accepting, what is this argument, we will discuss each and everything. I am just saying that suppose return type, maybe there is a return type, means the method is returning a value or may not, or method is accepting a value or may not accepting the value. On the basis of this two characteristics, that method is returning a value and method is not returning a value, on the basis of just these two, we can say that, like, method returning a value or not, and method accepting any argument or not, we can classify methods in 4 types. So method is accepting value or not, or method returning a value or not. On the basis of these two condition, we can say method, we can differentiate method are of 4 different types. So what are those 4 types, we will see. So number 1, it's not number 1, 2, 3, 4, it's like, means method is accepting or not, or means we are just saying like that, but it is not, it is number 1 or it is number 2, we just differentiating. So here we can say 1 is neither returning and not accepting any value, means this method will not return any value and also will not accept any value. So how it looks like, its return type is void, means not returning the value, and method name anything, then it will not accept any value. So no argument, and return type means you mention void, means there is no, this method is not going to return any value. This is one kind. Second kind, we can say returning value but not accepting any value, you can say, or arguments. This method will return a value but will not accept any value. So what is the return, means if it is returning a value, so what we have to write instead of void? See, this return type depends what kind of value you are going to return. It may be int, it depends on the requirement. Maybe you are returning a value which may be data type is int. You are returning a value which may be data type of float. You are returning a value which may be a data type of double. You are returning a value of maybe char, or maybe any secondary data type. In secondary data type, we discuss just two data type. One is array, another is string. So we have to write that data type on the, means which type of value you are returning, that data type you have to mention. So if suppose you want to return an int, then you have to mention int, then method name, then no argument. So this method will not accept any value, but it will return one integer. So how we return the integer, we will discuss. Now second thing, we are going to say that suppose I want to return array of suppose character array. So we have to mention the return type character array, the data type we have to mention, then method name, and then so what type of value you are going to return, you have to mention that data type here, and we cannot return more than one value. Any method can return only one kind of value. It may be int or array of int or string of array or anything, but only one value. That is one thing. Third one is not returning but accepting argument, maybe one argument, two argument, anything. So how it looks like? So here no, not returning any value, so it is void. Then your method name, so it may be anything, method name, and then it may accept any value. It may accept suppose a string. You have to write like this, maybe, but it is not returning a value. Maybe suppose I am just writing method name in short, and then it is accepting any other value like boolean, maybe more than one argument. So here method name, then suppose it is accepting one boolean, then we have to give here variable name with data type, then variable name, data type, then variable name, data type, then variable name. If you have more than one argument, we do not give the semicolon here. Here we are separating by using comma. So please remember, we are doing using comma. We have to separate with boolean, then I'm sorry, separate with comma, not with the semicolon. Then after that you can give anything like any other data type, maybe the same data type, maybe the other data type, it doesn't matter, it depends on your requirement. So suppose boolean may be same also, but the variable name will change. Now suppose I am saying char, so there is another variable, maybe int, float, boolean, anything. So number of arguments may be changed, but at least it will accept one argument. So this what I am saying, not returning any value but accepting argument or arguments, may be more than one. This is another. Now fourth and final one, return and accept both. So that argument will return and accept both. So this method is going to return the value also and will accept the value also. So how it looks like, any return type. So suppose the return type is float, any method name, and then it will accept. Always remember, there is no relation between return type and accepting type. It may be same, it may be different, it may be anything, but there is no relation. You cannot say, okay, argument is this, then return time is this. No relation means no relation. They are totally 100% independent with each other. Then maybe it is accepting any value, as I said, suppose char of array. This is possibility. Another possibility, suppose the value is int, method name you can give, then maybe it will accept also int. This is also a possibility. Or it is returning, suppose, string of array and then method name and then anything it is receiving. Suppose it is receiving double B char C and float array. This is also possibility. The number of arguments is unlimited, but in future, as I said, we are going to use the SonarLint. I have to check once if I am able to. I think so I already shared the screen. All of you please check and try to install the SonarLint. How to install, please Google it, you will get that tutorial and try to do it, then discuss with me. Mr. Ibrahim, please help if someone asking any question of related to SonarLint, how to install into the Eclipse. So this will do what? It will just test our code and will find out the bugs for us. Bugs, warning, so many things are there. So you can see this one, this type of thing, it will say not more than 8 arguments you can pass. There is no limit, but they said it is not a standard code. You just 8 argument or 4 arguments, something they are saying you have to pass maximum. So on the basis of return type and on the basis of arguments, we are dividing methods into 4 types, just on the basis of returning the value and accepting the value. That is one thing. Second thing, always remember, whatever the argument here, these all arguments are called formal arguments. Remember that one. It's called formal arguments. So A here is also is formal argument. So any argument inside the method, this braces, we are calling all of them as formal arguments. That is one thing. Now suppose we already saw our main method like this one. Suppose we have main method public static void main, then we have some argument done. So suppose we have the argument string array, this one you can give anything, I just say yes. Now if I declare a variable int a, so always remember, first thing in method, when you mention array in your argument, then no need of giving the size. This place no need of give the size. Is of an array if it is formal argument or return type. It is nowhere related with the whatever the your accepting argument and the returning argument. They are completely different. I am just saying that generally whenever we declare an array, suppose I am going to declare an array, so generally either we declare like this, int new, int, we give the some value, that is one way. Another way is directly assign the value. It will infer the value directly. So like this one, 1 2 4 5. So here if you see what is the size, so size is automatically how many elements, 1 2 3 4. So the size of this array is 4. So we have to either mention the size something like this, or we just directly give the value. So whatever the value is the size of your array, but here you don't have to mention the size. And also on the return type, so suppose if you are writing return type any method name, so you don't have to mention here. So whatever you will return, that will be the size of the array. So formal argument and return type, you don't have to mention the size of an array. Is this clear? Now we will see the method. As I said, 4 methods, so return type, all those things. Now suppose if you want to just suppose if you want to return, I want a method. Now first thing, to how we are going to write the method name. So method name will follow again the camel casing. As we already discussed, camel casing is what? If more than one word, then first word always start with a small letter, and then how many extra word it will add, it will start with the capital letter. So suppose if my program, if my method name is add, then it always start with the small letter, and all remaining characters are also small letter. I want to generate random number or something. So suppose if my method name is random number, so the second word will start with this one. So whatever that. So this will also, like camel casing means we are using in variable name also camel casing, same will follow in the method name. So only can anyone say in class name we are following Pascal casing. So first letter also start with the capital letter. This is the difference between the variable name and the method name and class name. Class name is only exception case where we are starting with the camel casing, Pascal casing. The first letter also start with the capital letter. Suppose we are writing any method, so how it looks like a method is exact method. Suppose I am going to write one method which will do what, which will add 2 number and return 1 integer, or no need of that one. Just suppose there one method, very simple method, which is going to return 1 integer. So suppose I am writing a method which is returning integer. So I will write the return type as int and method name according to that one. Suppose I said get integer, not writing full form, it is not receiving anything. I declare a variable integer, suppose I is equal to 5 into 10, and then I am returning this integer value. So how we will return this one? Till now in main method we are not going to return anything. So how to return a value? We have to write this keyword return, and then what value you are going to return, you have to write like this. So see here, this I is of integer data type and I am returning this one. So this data type should match what you are going to return. This data type is what is should match what value you are going to return. So if you mention integer, then you have to return the integer data type value only. So I is integer data type, so it is going to return this method. Return means this method is returning this value. What kind of value is this? Is integer data type. That's why I mentioned int. Now suppose I am writing char, and then I'm writing suppose get, not writing anything, and then I can return directly no need of declaring the variable, not only for char, for any variable. Suppose I am declaring returning a, so this method will return value a, which is of character data type. So single quote means it may be anything, but single quote indicates that it is a character data type. So either you can declare a variable or you can directly return the value. This is also allowed. Now suppose I am going to return double, and I said suppose value is our method name, and it is going to return then either I can declare a variable or we can return. Now suppose I am going to declare a variable this time. Suppose double div equal to 9 divided by 2.0, then I am going to return div. So div, as you can see, is a variable of double data type, and that one I am returning. So this method, what value type of value you are returning, you have to mention the same type. If you are trying to return value something different type and you mention something different, then it is an error. Suppose I am writing here double, and I am saying here array. So this method, I declare an array, even double but array. So I mention like this, and I say the value 3.2 and 5.9. So this array size of 2, one value is 3.2 and one value is 5.9. Now I am returning this array. So the value, the name of the variable, array variable is d, and I am trying to returning the value. Now see here, the type is same double, but it is an array. It is an array, but I haven't mentioned that I am returning an array. I mentioned that I am returning a simple double data type. Then your compiler will gives you an error that it will say that return type is double, but the exact actual value you are returning is array of double array. So these are the things we have to be take care, that what value you are going to return, you have to what you mention here, you have to return the same type. If you mismatch, then it will give you an error. So always remember this thing. So this is our how the method is returning a value. Second thing, before method return, I will write one very simple which doesn't return anything, doesn't do anything. So suppose I am saying just like that one. Suppose I am saying the method which is not returning and not accepting any value. This is void, means not returning. I say suppose greetings, and it is not accepting any value. Then I am writing here log dot info, say good night. So this method is not accepting any value and not returning any value. So just doing some code, it may be code anything. I am just printing a value. So this is one of the example that we are just printing a value and we are not accepting any argument, we are not returning anything. Now there is one thing that people maybe get confused. So always remember, again I am writing a one simple method and I just say add. This is not returning anything and not accepting anything. Now I declare two variables, int I is equal to 1 and a equal to 5. I did int sum is equal to I plus a. Then I printed the value. So I said sum is s. So now can anyone tell me this method should not return any value because I mentioned void. So if I am writing return but not writing any value. Now see here, the previous example, if you all see, return means I am writing return keyword with some value, return keyword with some value. If it is integer, means whatever the value, we are also returning the value. But here I mentioned the method should not return anything, but here I just mentioned the return keyword but not value. If your method is not returning anything, it is void, and you are just writing the return, then it is okay. No, it 0 is a value. 0 is a value. Not returning means you are not returning any value. Is 0 is not a value? Can anyone say 0 is a value? Don't take like 0 then it is not 0. No, 0 is a really big, it's very important value. If you multiply any value, it will make the 0. Okay, so here what I am saying, not returning means it will not return any value. But what is the meaning of this return? What is the meaning of this return if I am not returning any value? Its meaning is just simple, that it is just returning our control. Control means we have flow control. No, we have a program is executing like this, left top to bottom, left to right. So here it indicates that this is the end of the program. If we do not write till now in main method, we haven't write that one, so it's okay. It's okay that if you are not writing, your program is, this compiler is smart, when they found this is the last line of the method, it will automatically return. But even if you write the return, that is the same thing. Means you are not returning, you are just indicating that this is the end of the program. So this is a good programming. Generally we are not writing, because by default it is taking. But don't confuse why I am saying that one. Maybe in future if you go to any interview and you see this one, you will say okay, it is returning any value, or it is an error. Two things you can say, either okay, it is returning a value, maybe we don't know, or it is an error because it is mentioned already void. So it is not an error and it is not returning a value. It is just an indication that this is the end of this method. This is something. Second thing, what I am saying, suppose if we are writing any program, void hi, I am just writing hi. Then after that, if I am writing return, this method again not accept returning any value, so I'm just writing a return. After return, you should not write any code. It is an error. It will not going to compile, it is not going to run. Then you can say, like few days back, Mr. Tansir asked dead code or something. So it is not dead code, but generally your compiler will give you the error, because you already said that this is the last line. So why you are writing this line here? So don't do like that. It is an error. So not only just in the void, in the same thing applied after after return, sorry, return keyword, we are not writing anything in our code. Either don't write or means you should not write like that. So this is all our method. Now we will see some examples. Now what I said, that all of you, that suppose I am writing a program with add method, someone writing a program with subtract method, someone writing a program with another method, and after that someone is passing argument, someone is not passing argument, someone is using different type of arguments, like someone is using int, someone is using string, someone is using double. So this kind of data is means anyone can do accordingly. But what will be the starting point of that program? That is our means this is who will define. I say no, my program should be work, and other will say so that their program will work. There means starting point, or that should work. Then Java people said no, we will give you 1 point, one complete description of the program, but not the body. Body you have to write. We are writing the body, only name, public, static, argument, return type. If you write the same thing, this is going to be the starting point of your program. So this is what I am saying, that if we are writing the method, so method is not going to run till we are not calling it from the main method, because main method is the starting point. So what I am saying, suppose we have a program where we have public, static, void, main method. This is our method. Here we are doing anything. So in this program we are writing anything, suppose SOP start. Then after that, suppose this program is finished. Now in the same program I wrote my method, any method, suppose I said void and I said add, and I wrote this one, I said this is add method, and I close this one. So once we run this program, this method is not going to execute. The method will execute only if it is called by any other method, which is means this method will execute only when it is called either directly by main or indirectly by main. Indirectly by main meaning we can have more than one method inside our one program. Suppose we have 10 methods, so one method is called by the main and that method is calling other method, so that is also can, means it should be linked with main by any mean, either it is direct or indirect. So even this method is in our program. If we run this program, then we can see only this output, that is start, but we cannot see this one. It is not going to execute. Why? Because you have not called this method from the main. So how we can call this method from the main? We have to write the name of the method, and if we have any argument, then we have to pass that argument, same data type. Here this method doesn't have any argument, we have to just close this one and then semicolon, means main and then accordingly arguments. If arguments you already giving the argument, then you have to give the value, else no need. So how this program will work, I will show you. So suppose now I have SOP and I am saying end, and then I close the bracket. Then how this program will work? First, your program, as I said, from top to bottom and left to right. So it will execute this one, then it will print start. When it comes here, it knows your compiler that this is a method. So your compiler will keep this address in there some place, and then after that it will jump here, your flow control. This is called flow control, means this top to bottom and right. It will jump here when it finds any method, then it will execute this method completely. So it will print this time, because this time it is here. So this is, say this is add. This one is coming from where? This one is coming from add method. Once it is finished, it will just go after that line where it is jump, then it will print end method. So here maybe because of this flow is jumping and then returning back, then maybe students get confused in method. So this is the way method is working. I will show you one more thing, means this is the way. So here if you want that method is working, that then we have to call it from the main method. So how to call? This is, we are saying the name and the if it is having argument, then we have to give the bracket and arguments. If no argument, then we don't have to give the argument, we just write this bracket and semicolon. So it will indicate that it is, this method is going to call. So here we will see this main method is start to execute. It will print this value in your console, then it will come here, it will realize this is a main, this is a method call, it will jump to that method, then it will execute that method completely, then it will just go after that line and then it will execute. So here this is add, then end will work. So you can see start and end is coming, but this add I added in between, that's why this is printing here. This is it's not like 1 and 2, just I am for convenient. So this is our main method. Here I am writing Now see, every time I have to okay, let it be, it becomes so we will write start, and then we are writing here. I am just adding a static. We will discuss in future, not now. Just remember that one. We will go with static now. So I say great. This method is not returning any value, and this method is also not accepting any value. Even in main we never tried, but suppose if I write return only, doesn't matter. Even main is not returning, so we are not returning the value, we are just indicating that it is a flow control returning. So after that, if you are writing anything, then it will give you the error. So if you read the error, unreachable code. Unreachable code meaning it is not going to reach, means you are writing this one, it is a useless thing. So we are never write anything after return. We can write, but in some condition, suppose in condition that after, if this condition is satisfied, then return, then we have to put inside the if, and then we can write this allowed. Now I'm going to write here also log.info. Is one of the method. So this is our main method. From here, if you see, I'm not calling this method. So this method, even it is here, but this method will not run. So if this method will run, then we can see the good evening. So here, where is that code? So we can see start and we can see end. Okay, we are not going to use here now, or it makes things looks scary. Now for just so if we run this program, then we can see start and end. We cannot see this one. Why? Because even it is in the method in the class, and it should be inside all the class, even it is not calling. Why not calling? Because we are not calling from the main method, so it is no way linked to our main method. So we have to call this method from main or any other method which is called from main, then it is going to execute. So suppose we can put anywhere, it's not like that just in the middle, just I want to show how things are working. So this is our program. Are going to run this program. Now this time you can see good evening come at the middle. Why? Because once it is start to execute, it execute here. When they realize greeting is a method, it jump to the greeting method, it execute this method completely, then again return back just where it is stopped, then it start to execute again, and then it is finished. So this is the way our program will work if we are using the main method. So inside of doing all those things, we are splitting our code into the different method. So this is coming from the greeting method, and this to start and end is coming from the that method. That is one thing. And having any confusion, then please ask. Another thing is you can call this method any number of times. It depends on you, either from here, either after this, or either after this. It doesn't matter how many times you will call. It will jump here, it will execute this method, then again return back, then again jump, execute this method, then again return back, then again jump, then again execute this method, then return back. So see here, first time I am calling greeting, then it will print start, then 2 times greeting, then end, then 1 time greeting. So number of times we can call this method, it doesn't matter, it will work fine. So see how many times. First time we are calling this method, that's why good evening, then start, then good evening 2 times, because this good evening is coming from greetings method, then it is end, and then we call again good evening. So it is, there is no restriction, no such thing that you cannot call a method more than once or twice or thrice. It depends on us, our requirement. Generally we call 1 to 3 times, whatever requirement we are going to do that one. This is what we are means method. So now we will see some of the things. This is method, is simple method where we are just calling this method and it is printing and all those things. Now suppose we are writing, we have one program, or before that just we will see that method 2. Suppose this method is accepting argument but not returning any argument. Suppose we are going to write one argument. So suppose I am going to writing static void prime int number. The method which is going to calculate the prime number or not. Now suppose I have, like last time we did, either we go to the loop to find out more than one variable. Now suppose we have so many variables, like I have int j equal to 7 and int k equal to 45. We have these 3, maybe more than 3, maybe more than 10 or something like that. So either we have to write, suppose for finding out this 3 variable, I have to write the same code 3 times, or we are going to write this method which is prime, and every time I am just passing this variable. First time I check for j and then k. So here what I am doing, I am just writing prime method code once in our program, but in a method, and I am calling that method whenever I want to calculate the prime number, just passing this value. So when we pass the value, always remember you are copying the value of this variable here. Faster, yes, because you are not writing the code, means it's avoid the repetition of the code. We are writing once and using everywhere whenever it is we require. Yes, it is faster and it is clean and tidy. So this is the way we are going to do our program. Now if I run this program, then you can see 5 and 7 is prime and 45 is not a prime. So this is one of the biggest advantage, that you write once and whenever it requires you will use that one. But if we do not use the method, then we have to write for 3 numbers or more than 3 numbers, we have to write the code again, but the code is, concept is, logic is same, only this value is going to change. So this is our simple program where a method is accepting an argument but not returning anything, so it is mentioned as void. So it is not just an example of prime number, it is any type of number. Like I will show you again. Program we already did. Now this time this I created one method name. It is again case sensitive. You should pass the same name and the argument should be matched. It is int, so you have to pass int. If suppose it is int and you are passing a string, then it is throwing the error. Now we will run this program, then you can see. So this is your 5 number tables, this is your 7 number tables, and this is your 2 number table. Whatever number we pass, it accept that value and then it just printed that value. So here we are just printing, checking, so that's, there is no need of returning the value. If there is any pattern, any printing thing, then we don't have to return the value. So this method are what? This method are the examples of accepting the value but not returning the value. So this is for decrease star. I will copy this code. And then if you don't have that method name, it will give you the error. So you have to read such error. That method table is undefined for the method for the type method 2 3. Here type meaning your class name. If you see this one, for the method 2 type 3, this method is not defined because this method I changed the name. So always remember, don't be panic, you have to give the same. Then it will, I am passing 5, then it will print 5. So we are going to run this program and then Java application, then it is printing the decreasing star. So method, you have to do whatever program we did, either it is pattern printing, either it is a prime number, either it is a table printing, all you have to do by using our method, by using our what, by using our method. So we have to do, though this method is accepting any integer but not returning any value. Now there is a problem because I found this one and the people get confused, especially when I was in company. I saw some people suppose fake and they came. Now suppose I declare a variable. Suppose I make this one as a string and I make that, or suppose I declare another variable. I said string a is equal to anything. This is a string data type that I declare, and I have also integer data type. This method is working very fine. Suppose instead of 5, if I make 9, it will start from 9 star and it will go up to 1 star. So 9 lines, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So this is working fine. Now suppose by mistake instead of I, if I give a, then see what it will show you. It will give you the error. But this method is there, but the problem is this type is not matched. This method is trying to accepting an argument of type int, but by mistake we pass a type of string, so it is not match. Then it will show you the error and it will say the same thing, that this method is not defined. Now see, if we give this method, the method decrease this in the type method 2 3 is not applicable for the argument string. Here it is saying more clearly that this method is type is int, variable name anything, is not applicable for the argument string. So we are trying to passing a string, but this method is only for int. So this is the problem. If you face some problem in like means in any company or such thing, then with cool mind check clearly what's the issue. If this method is fine, suppose I search and I make case sensitive and whole, then it is there, but still it is showing me the error. Then we have to check the arguments. So arguments match or not. So these are very simple thing, but I saw people get confused so much. So remember this thing, and this program is working very fine. This is done. Now after that we will see, suppose any method is returning a value but not accepting anything. So this is one of the method where we are going to pass the value. So suppose this method static int, it is returning int, we can return anything int, or suppose it is going to okay, and I said sum. So this method is not accepting anything but returning the sum. So I say sum 5 plus 4. So this method is returning an integer. 5 is also integer, 4 is also integer. So if sum of the two integer, the result is also integer, whatever the value, it's data type. Then it is returning that answer. So how we will get that value here? We have to write, we have to first, as I said, we have to call this method from our main method. But what happening the value it returns? So it is returning a value, then we have to receive that value, and the type should match. Means where you are receiving the value which is returning by this method, it should match the type of the return type of that method. So its return type is int. So we have to write int any variable name and this one. So this whatever this method is returning, we are receiving here. If we do not receive, suppose I am not writing this one, then whatever value it is returning, it is just going to waste. It is not, we are not saving or keeping anyway. So once this method is returning, we have to save. Then we will print this value sum, and we will run this method. So sum is 9. This is how it works. So 5 plus 4, either we declare a variable and return that value, or we are just not returning, we are not declaring, just doing the sum. So this is one of the example of method is not accepting any value but returning a value. Similar to that one, we can return array. Now suppose this method is not an array sum, it is get array. Suppose then I am saying this one, so it is showing me error. Why? Because that method already gone, so it should match this method name. Now after that, as I mentioned, return 5 plus 4, but I said what we should give this value. So I am going to write int 3, 1, 9, 0. So I am returning this array of int, that's why I mentioned here, and then this is the value. So this is what, this is our value, and I am returning that array. So I suppose I make it, suppose this one. So this one, it is showing the error. So what is the error? The type mismatch, cannot convert from int array to int, means this method is returning an array, but you are trying to saving inside an simple integer variable, make it array also. Now we make this variable an array. Now we are going to print this value. So I already discussed for each data type, so I said like this. Then here we are going to print the value. Now if I run this program, Java application, so see 3190. So this method is returning an array, and we are printing that array from here. Here I didn't give the bracket because one line by default associated with your for, while, loop, if, but always try to give the value. This is very good programming. So this is for each loop, whatever the array value, it will pick one by one, and it will, means that is speaking, if you print you will get that value. So this is one of the method. Now suppose I am going to write this program again. Now suppose I have this method again, same method. Now suppose I have one get array 1. I have cannot same name of method. So I have one method name is 2 and one method name is, all are returning array. Now suppose this returning something, size is something, no, that's why the size may be changed. So here we are not mentioning the size. Here suppose the size is only 1, and this one is okay, 3190, or suppose I make it 29. So there we have 3 arrays, we are returning 3 methods which are returning integer array. That one is get array 1, another is get array 2, another is get array 3. Now if I have get array 1 and I just print this value, and it is done. So only this method I am calling. So if I print this value, run as a Java application, then it is printing this one 319099. I haven't called this one and this one, so I want to use all these 3. So we have to do what? We have to just copy paste this program 3 times. So one is get array 2 and one is get array 3. So here always remember you have to define just once, and then you can get same array store another array again and again, but you don't give again this one here. So if you try to give here, then it is an error. You cannot define a variable, declare a variable again and again, but yes, can initialize. So this time if I run this program, why it is sum? It is not sum. It is just an here if I do something like this and I remove ln, then all will print in the same line. So I will do one thing. Just to separate this two array, all arrays. So if I run this program, so this is first array 319099, this is second array, and this is third array. Now to print the value, every time I have to write this thing. Every time I'm going to write for this, and this. So I will take this one out, and then I will create one method, and I will say static void print array. Then I will write here this method, and I will just declare int array here, and here just I change the name, it looks good. Then I will do this print array, and no need of calling anything, sorry. So you can see our code will looks good also, and it's to maintain the program. So instead of all this line, this program is become now like this. So only one time I will write this code and will use this one. So this is an example where I am accepting an argument but not returning any value. But this is an example where I am returning the value but not accepting the any argument. So I will run as Java application. So again the same answer, but this time it is means easy to write and easy. Every time we will simply run this program and we'll get the result. So this is our an example of where we are passing argument, we are not passing an argument but getting the value. And here this is an example we are passing the value but not returning anything. You see this program how it is working. When your program is started, it comes here. When it reach here, then if you press Control and click on method, then it will jump to that place. So see here, if I press Control, it will become like that. If you click, it will go to that method. It comes our cursor here. My cursor is here. When I click, it will come here. This is a shortcut to find out any method where it is. Then here what happened, it will execute this line. So whatever value it will store here. Then when it comes here, again it jump here, and then it execute this method again completely, and then it comes here. Again it founds a method, then it comes here and it print this value, and then come here. When it founds this method, again it prints this value, and then again return back. Again it founds one method, then it comes here, it execute whatever value it is stored here, then again it founds a method and it comes here. So this is the way method and variable all are changing, and we are doing all this thing. So these are the examples of methods. Now one thing you see here, we declare one variable here, this is called formal argument. But if you declare any variable inside the method, like I declare this one, this is called actual argument. So this any variable that you declare inside a method is called actual argument, and any variable that you are receiving here, this is called formal argument. Now we are going to discuss the fourth type of variable. So fourth type is where we are receiving an where we are receiving and accepting both. So I will do, suppose here I am passing one variable and I say A, and then I say B. So this method, if you see, this method is accepting two arguments and also returning int, but it is coincident. It's not like that it is accepting int, that's why it is returning it. No. Now we have to check that it is accepting this method is returning a returning value also and accepting this one. So here instead of A5 we will write like this. So this method is doing what? This method taking the formal argument, adding the value and returning the value. So here we have to pass those values. Either we can declare a variable and pass values, or we can directly pass a value. So whatever the value we are passing, it will sum and return this value. So if we run this program, then we can see. So sum is 70, 66 plus 4. So 66 plus 4 combine and then return the value received in this one, and then we printed the value. So this method is an example where we are doing both, accepting the value also and returning the value also. Now we will see some of the examples. Here I am going to write a program where we have to pass the lower case argument array and they will return the uppercase array. So how we can do this one? So first we will declare an array. Suppose I will say and I declare suppose A comma B comma clear an array. Now we will say here that my method name, first letter start with small, then second letter capital, third letter capital, and then fourth letter also capital. So this one is going to take one array. Let's suppose R. So our program is doing what? It will return again the array but in the uppercase. So we have to make our program to the uppercase. So how we can do? We will write for int I equal to 0, I less than r dot length, and then I plus plus. So we have to convert from lowercase to uppercase. So we will do r of I, so minus equal to 32, and then we are going to return the array. Then here I will say uppercase. So again what we have to do, where is our print method? So this is our print array method. So here instead of int we have to pass char, then we have to do array with, now if our value I took character array, small letter, only 3 letters, it may be anyone, and then I am subtracting the 32 value. Why 32? It's 32, or what's the value on that time we calculated? Do we remember? 65 minus 97. Can anyone tell me the difference? 75. Okay. If it is printing in the uppercase, then we are going to just write that. Now see, the problem happening is what? We are just here, this is the problem. So prints that value, we will type. What sum you ask, Sajid? What sum you ask? Tell me. Remove 0. Okay, let me try to do that one. So how to remove 0? Remove 0 is not an issue. The problem is dynamic array. So this one, this is called for each loop. Suppose you declare an array, any value. Either we go through. This is what I am explaining. Yes, either we can do the for loop, as generally we do for the loop, like for int I equal to 0, I less than r dot length, and then I plus plus, then loop is finished, and then we are going to print the value by using the indexing variable. I declare an array int add equal to 1 2 3. Now I am writing for loop int I equal to 0, I less than r dot length, then I plus plus. Then I am doing, suppose instead of printing directly, I just declare another variable. Suppose I say a, and I am writing ar of I, and then I am doing anything, printing or doing anything. So here if you see here, Meena, that this is, this is a simple array. We are just checking that we do not cross the limit. We do not cross the limit, and we are here we are getting the value one by one. So if you see in the memory space, it looks like r of 0, r of 1, r of 2, then the value is 1 2 3. So r of 0 means first time when I value was 0, you will get the value 1. When I value becomes 2, I value is 0, you give it 1. When I value is 1, you get the value 2. Value is 3, this is indexing, don't be confused. And this is, then next time you get the value, and then you are out of the loop. So to get the value in this variable, we have to do what? We have to write the indexing variable, we have to check the length, and we have to increment the variable, and then we have to write this line of code. Now what is this for each loop? For will do just, but here you must know the data type. So it is, our array is int data type, so you have to declare a variable, just give the colon and give the array name. Then it will do what? This loop will automatically check the size, and it will pick the value one by one into this. So whatever we got here, this one we directly getting here. Means first time it will automatically rotate. First time a value is 1, then second time 2, then third time is 3. So here we are doing manually indexing variable, checking length, and then we are getting the value here. But if you are writing this code, this all lines of code from here to here is just here, this part, and it will pick the value automatically. We don't have to do anything, but it pick. But you have to be taking you have to be careful that what kind of data type is this. If it is int, you have to mention here int. If it is char, you have to mention here char. And that time, last time you saw, it prints the number because it was char, but I was trying to get the value into the int. So char to int into char can be possible, that typecasting. So that's the reason it is not throw the error, but it print the value of the ASCII value of the character. This is called for each loop. The just name is for each. There is another for each loop in the lambda method we will discuss when we will discuss the lambda method. So this is the shortcut. Generally in the real-time programming we are using this part. We don't have to indexing and checking the size. It will do each and everything. It will get the value and you just print the value. Done. So this is one. Now another thing is Mr. Sajid is asking removing the zero. So Mr. Sajid, the problem is that I have to declare array number of times. So this one we removed or not, we will see this thing. To test more, I target is but not sure. This is simple, Mr. Here. Sajid, you saw that one. We have to first do what? Without zero, we have to first see how many elements are there, because as I said, it is a static memory allocation. You cannot change its size. You can do, but we don't want to do here, else we use the new this one. So here what I did, I first check how many non-zero element. I just increase the value of size. After that I created a new array with that element. This is all are indicating that this number of non-zero value here. This is what array you got. It is free from zero. What you are saying to print with index. Okay, let it be print with index. Let me run this program. Okay, so I forgot to remove a of 0, so I forgot to increment the value. Is this okay for those who doesn't know that who ask this one with indexing? Because for each loop, if you want index, then you have to declare a variable outside and you have to increment that. You will not get that one. Either you use for simple for loop. So this is your program. Means this array doesn't have zero. So this is one of the example where we are just removing. So basically what happened in array, it is a static memory allocation. So if I said any question to remove or append, then you have to create a new array. In the same array, same array cannot do. As I already mentioned the last time, if you create a new array, then it will allocate a new memory. It will not do anything with that memory. This is because of its property, that is static memory allocation. So suppose you are writing any simple program sum. So if you are writing I comma double if you see this first argument is integer, second argument is boolean. First argument is integer, I pass integer and this is boolean. It's done. But suppose same I am doing here. It's also working, but suppose if I just change the order, it means argument is same, type is same, order is changed. So you have to pass the value according to the order. So if first thing is boolean, then you have to pass the boolean. If second thing is integer, then you have to pass the integer. So order also matter of the argument. It's not just only the number of argument and this thing. A number of argument also matters, but order also matters. So you cannot do something like this, else you will get the. So always remember this thing, order also matter, and the number of arguments also matters. So number of arguments means, suppose we have, and this is, so if I try to print the false number, so instead of 3 argument, if I try to pass the 2 argument, then it will show the error. The method print 3 this type, this method in the type argument value is not applicable for the argument boolean element. So I am trying to pass 2 value, but it is accepting 3 value, so we cannot do like this. Always remember type, order and number of arguments all should be match of any method, then it will work